Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the myth of high risk and high reward, right? So when people generally talk about investment, they will tell you if you take a high risk, then you will have a better chance of getting a high reward. The corollary to that is if you take no risk or you take zero risk, then you will not be successful. But the question becomes, is that really how it works? When you think about it, for rich people, the rule for them is zero risk, high reward, or low risk, high reward. For the rest of us, for most other folks out there, it is high risk, high reward. So, but what does that mean? If you take high risk, it means most likely you're going to lose your investment, right? That's what it means. So you're talking about, if you think about the universe of investment opportunities that are out there for most regular people, the stock market, cryptocurrency, all other types of volatile types investments, that's exactly what they are. They are volatile. And that means that you put your money in them, they are subject, it means your money is subjected to all of the gyrations, the up and downs of the economy. In an up economy, maybe you're lucky. In a down economy, you're going to lose your money. But for the most part, on average, when you think about people that are actively investing in the stock market, they generally lose their money in the long run if they are trying to beat the market and buying individual stocks. Obviously, if you are investing in a basket of funds or something like that, or a basket of stock, over the long run, people do make money, right, over the long term. It is a seductive idea, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to turn, some investment into some sort of fortune overnight? Like, you take high risk with this money, you have $10,000, that's all you have in your savings. You take a super high risk, you dump it into crypto, for example, and then you wake up, a month from now, 3 months from now, you have $800,000. Who wouldn't want to do that? Now, as I said, rich people actually take low risk and they get rewarded highly from it. Now, how exactly do they do that? Like, what does that mean? Now, there are a few principles that they work with. One of them is capital preservation. What does that mean? It's like the idea behind that is you do not want to lose money, right? You do not want to lose money. If you lose 50% of a certain amount, you're going to have to make 100% of that amount to break even, right? Does that make sense? Say, for instance, you have $10,000 and you lose 50%, you lose $5,000. Once you have this $5,000, for you to get back to where you were, $10,000, you have to make 100% of that again, $5,000. You have to make another $5,000, which is hard. So that is one. Capital preservation, that is one. Rule number two is steady and predictable returns. So what do I mean by that? For rich people, rather than invest in the next big thing like crypto or whatever, Nvidia, whatever the case may be, the hardest stock in the stock market, what they do is they want to invest in something that they know that provide constant and consistent results or returns. They put their money, or the big chunk of their money, in something that provides constant and consistent results, right? It doesn't have to be exciting. It could be the most boring thing out there. What is more important to them is they are looking at the returns. Does it make a certain kind of return? If it does, they put their money in it. In fact, it doesn't matter if it is exciting or not. In fact, the more boring the investment is, the better it is. Warren Buffett is known for doing this. He buys things like insurance companies. Like, insurance companies is not exciting. It's not sexy. Like, what are you going to do with an insurance company? Like, how do they make money? He puts his money in those types of things. But the thing is, those types of companies are cash cows. They grow, and he knows what kind of returns he's going to get from them, and then he gobbles them up, he grabs them. Berkshire Hathaway, I mean, come on. He just buys up these things and he's sitting there with his money. Now, the third principle is tax efficiency. So for rich people, always looking to optimize for taxes. They're not just buying anything, making any investments for the sake of buying, for the sake of making that investment. Always looking at, you always want to look at it from the strategic perspective, from a tax strategy perspective. Like, how does this investment benefit me from a tax perspective? What kind of tax breaks do I get? How can I optimize or leverage this for other properties that I have in a tax beneficial manner? I mean, if you take a look at capital gains as an example, capital gains taxes, conceptually, there's no reason why it should be taxed differently from ordinary income. But, rich people have people that lobby on their behalf, to make the ways that they mostly make money tax beneficial. So therefore, you need to be looking into all of those ways as well. Like, okay, how can I optimize whatever income that I'm making or whatever revenue that my company is making to qualify for something like, carried interest or capital gains or something to that effect. Now, the next principle is really leveraging other people's money to make money. So again, when I'm talking about low risk, high returns, if you're going to make an investment, why put your money on the line, right? Where you can use other people's money, where you can borrow the money. Because at the end of the day, what matters is if it goes bust, your money's not on the line, right? Your money is not at risk. And you get the benefit of not putting in the risk, but also the benefit of getting the upside. You get the benefit of the upside, right? Like, why could you go ahead and borrow money to make whatever kind of investment? As long as that investment can service the debt, you're good to go. That's what people do. If there is a way to really illustrate low risk, high returns, that is really what it is. Borrowing money from a bank or from other people and using that money to amplify returns while you get the benefit of the upside, and the risk, you kind of like push the risk to someone else. So, I mean, the real takeaway from this is, while it's true that, if you take a high risk, it can lead to high rewards, the question is not that you should be asking, it's not whether this is a high risk opportunity or a low risk opportunity. The question that you should be asking is, does this investment move the needle? Not necessarily in a small, tiny way, but in a way that minimizes the risk to me. So, because for rich folks, you have to be thinking like, okay, can I get 10% from this investment, on an annualized basis or something like that, rather than 50? If you can almost guarantee 10%, you will be fine with that, because you know that, you can always build upon that, based on compounding and all of that, rather than trying to swing for the fence and, hit a home run, and put everything on the line. That is really the key here. It's like, it's not the question, it's not really about low, it's not really about low returns opportunities. No. The real thing here is risk, and the access to the kind of opportunities where the opportunity for you to lose money is actually quite low. Do you have access to certain kinds of investments, right? Do you have access to certain kinds of sponsors that sponsor certain types of investments? If the answer to that is yes, then the opportunity to lose that money is really quite low, while the opportunity to make money from it, to hit the kind of returns that you're looking for, is quite robust. The myth of high risk, high reward is exactly just that. It is just a myth, right? It's just a myth. Yeah, it may occasionally work out or pay off for some people, right? It may pay off for a lucky few or something to that effect, but it is not a sustainable way to build wealth. When you look at most of the people that have truly built wealth over time, the focus has always been on capital preservation and steady returns that become amplified over time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe.